Okay, I don't even want to talk about it. This is gonna be such a long story. I'm finally filming in my new apartment and it's just different, you know? So I'm gonna be getting ready today. I'm actually going to, so this is so random, but ColourPop collaborated with the NBA. Tonight they're doing like an event slash like the basketball game, like the Lakers are playing the Suns, and I'm going to that. So I figured I would film this Get Ready with me. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be using the ColourPop Lakers palette. I'm not entirely sure what I'm trying to do here. I know I wanna use the yellow, and I don't know if I'm gonna incorporate the purple. We're just gonna have to see what happens. Plus, I want to share with you my moving story because it is fucking wild. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna be going through all the steps because there's no way I can tell you this moving story and be doing that, but I'll link all the products down below. So I moved. If you guys didn't know that, I moved into a new apartment, and it was rough. It was very rough. It happened pretty quickly, to be completely honest. Like, finding the place and deciding to move happened very fast, but I had been wanting to do it for a really long time. It was just pretty apparent when we moved into our old place that it was too small. You know, it would have been perfect if I didn't work from home, but considering the fact that I work from home and also what I do, my stuff takes up a lot of space. Like, just this filming setup in general takes up a lot of space, and I really need like my own space for it. So it's something that I wanted to do for a long time, and we found this place and it just kind of happened very quickly. At sort of like a very stressful time, one of my boyfriends, probably his like busiest time of work, he was traveling, and so was I, like multiple times in the month, which made things even more complicated. So for instance, my boyfriend traveled, like went away for like, I can't remember, 2 or 3 days maybe. Then I had a trip planned for the end of September to go visit friends in my hometown. So that was like September 30th was when I left, and I would get back October 5th. Well, we found this apartment kind of like before that, like within September, we found it, and had to like, you know, sign the lease and pick the moving day and all of that. And it's an empty building, like it was a brand new building. So the latest they were really doing move-ins was October 1st. But I was able to have the building manager push our move-in date to the 6th, which was the day after I got back from my trip. And keep in mind, my boyfriend had been gone. So basically, like, as soon as we decided that we were going to sign the lease and start moving, we started packing immediately because we knew we were gonna be traveling. So I just bought a bunch of boxes and like packed all that stuff up because I was like trying to make it as easy as possible. I didn't want it to be stressful on him or me. I hired a moving company, which is where the story comes from. The big story, I'm just giving you the background right now. Hired a moving company. It's gonna be a long video. I had never hired a moving company before because typically when I was like moving in the past, it was just like trash bags, like clothes and trash bags. You know, like I always save, one of the perks of being an influencer and going to events is you pretty much always get like a tote bag or like a duffel bag or something. I always save them because they always come in handy when, you know, you have to like, I don't know, even if you're just like going to a friend's house and you need a thing to put stuff in. I always save those tote bags. So I was already filling up a ton of that stuff, and I figured like I'll hire the movers. We did like a crossover between our two places. So our last day in our old place was the 14th of October, and we were technically moving in here, like our first day was the 6th. So we had like a week of, like basically a full week of crossover. Anyway, I was trying to make things like very easy, like packing up a ton of stuff ahead of time, just like spending like any of my downtime packing and getting ready for the move. I also just happened to be like really on top of YouTube at the time for some crazy reason. I don't even know why. But I had a bunch of I was just like ahead as far as filming. I was filming a lot of things, which was really nice because that just like helped. Anyway, so I was trying to be organized, trying to make things really smooth, packing a bunch of things, got a bunch of boxes. We had like so much stuff packed up. Anyway, so I wanted to hire a moving company to move all the big stuff because this was the first time that I was moving a lot of big stuff. I asked our friend who had just moved He'd moved a bunch of times, but he had just moved into a house. So I asked him for a recommendation, like, hey, what movers did you use and were they any good? And he was like, oh yeah, they were great, and gave me the name of the moving company. And I was like, okay, perfect. And like now I know that they're gonna be good, because it's always like freaky, you know, if you haven't like used movers before. Like I don't want them touching all my stuff, and I don't want anything to break. We have like this big bookshelf, and you know, just, I don't know, just a bookshelf mostly, but like paintings and all that kind of stuff. So I hired them, scheduled them for the 12th, and I was like, okay, perfect. So we'll have plenty of time, like when I get back, to slowly move like all the small stuff. And the 12th will be, like we'll literally have 6 days to move small stuff back and forth with our car, like while we have free time. And then the big move will be on the 12th, and then we'll still have 2 days to come back and like pick up any like ancillary stuff. Like I thought, I've planned this so perfectly. It's gonna be so easy. So I go to New Hampshire is where I'm from originally. So I go and I'm there for like 5 days. Well, I live in Los Angeles, so I am not used to seasonal colds. So I hung out with my friend who has 3 kids, and they all had colds. And I was like, it won't be a big deal. She was like, they're probably not contagious anymore. I haven't gotten sick yet, so like you're probably gonna be fine. Well, this thing tried to kill me. I didn't feel sick until I got home, but then I literally felt like I was dying. Like I got an ear infection, and it was just like probably the worst cold I've ever had ever. Because I'm just not used to, like, you can live in LA and just like not get sick for years. You just like don't, your immune system isn't like exposed to that stuff. That was rough. I also gave it to my boyfriend and my brother, so that was really cool. That happened literally right when I got back, like maybe a couple days after I got back from the trip, and we were supposed to be moving. So I ended up being like bedridden for like 3 full days, which was not ideal. So basically, and then my boyfriend was working, like he was having to like he was supposed to travel, and luckily he couldn't, because they wanted to be very safe about, like, it wasn't COVID. I took a test. It wasn't COVID, but you know, you want to be safe. So he was not supposed to, or he didn't travel because of that. And then he got sick, which like, good thing he didn't travel. Anyway, so that was like a nightmare. I was super stressed. I couldn't do anything there. Even when I like started to feel a little bit better, I was like, I would get exhausted, like after 20 minutes of trying to do something. So that was like the first thing. And that literally, I think I just started feeling better. What is today? The 22nd? I've just started feeling better like this week, like within this week. Like I finally am not as stuffed up, and like my ear isn't like on fire anymore. Like it was horrible. So fast forward, we were able to move some stuff. We were like a little bit behind, but we were able to move some small things. My brother helped out a little bit, and that was really nice. The moving day, the 12th comes along. And I'm like, okay, I literally thought this is gonna be great. Like I'm gonna be able to sit back, like we'll take some small stuff in our car, but they're gonna be doing all the work, right? Funny. So I got a call from them at, I can't even remember what time it was. I think it was like 8:45 or 8:40 or something. And they're like, the guy goes, hey, so we're like an hour and 10 out. So we'll be there like around like 9:20, 9:30 latest. And I was like, and I was just on the phone with him. So I was like, okay. And then I hung up and I was like, wait, that math does not check out. What? So my boyfriend and I went to go grab coffees and something to eat beforehand. And I was telling him this, and he's like, oh, maybe he meant like 10:15 or something, or 10:20, 10:30 latest. So I'm just like, yeah, he must have just like misspoken. So that probably should have been my first like red flag. Their ETA, or like the time that they were scheduled, was between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So they don't end up showing up until 10:30. He had said 9:30 on the phone. It's 3 guys that I hired with a truck. I get a call when they arrive, and he goes, hey, we're here. And he's like, cause I don't even know where I'm supposed to like park. Now where we are, there's like tons of street parking. It's literally just like it was just like an open street. And I was like, okay, we'll just park wherever you find a spot, and like, I'll be right down to like whatever. And he's like, okay, like, okay. So I go down there. There's 2 guys. There's like one guy in the truck, and then there's 2 guys, and one in particular who you're gonna be hearing about a lot, with long hair. And he just has this like shit-eating grin on his face. And I'm like, what's funny? Like I like went up and I was like, hey, and I was like, parking here is fine or whatever. They're like, not, these 2 like aren't talking to me. The main guy gets out of the truck finally. I bring them up. Immediately, they're like complaining about moving stuff. Like what we had done was bag or box up a ton of stuff, and like all of our clothes were just like on hangers with trash bags. So there were like a ton of trash bags with clothes. And the main guy was like, yeah, well, like, I don't know, some of this stuff is gonna be like really difficult. And we were like, what? And he was like, it's just like the bags, like we just have to go back and forth carrying them. So like, it's gonna take a while. And I was like, what? Like, so he's complaining basically about like moving stuff. And I was like, I don't care. I'm paying for it. Just like, I need to move this stuff. Like, this is the moving day. And then he starts going over the contract. And he's like, so they do, like, insurance does this by the pound. So if you break like a really expensive, or if we break a really expensive iPhone, you get paid by the pound of the product, not like its actual worth. And my boyfriend was like, okay, I'm glad you told us that because we're not gonna have you move any of that stuff. And he was like, no, I mean, we're not gonna break your iPhone. This guy, by the way, was so wobbly. Like I thought he was drunk when he showed up. He was like stepping like Jack Sparrow, literally. When they were like explaining the contract thing, I was just like, red flags, like this is freaking me out. But like, what do you do when like it's moving day? You have to move all of this stuff and what are you supposed to do? I didn't know what to do. My building manager was there and she was like opening up all the doors and making sure that things were like propped open so that they would have an easy time. And she was watching them. And I came downstairs and she was talking to my boyfriend and she was like, I was like, I don't like these guys. And one of them definitely heard me say that. And she was like, yeah, I'm getting really bad vibes from them. And she told us like horror stories about movers like stealing stuff from her. So she was like, if you haven't taped up boxes, like you should do that. So I made a big deal about it. I was like, before you start taking stuff onto the truck, I want to tape these up. Like I'm taping everything up. So they start moving stuff. They're doing like, I asked them, I was like, hey, the shit eating grin one, long hair guy is what I'm gonna call him. Just like not really doing anything. Just like complaining about shit and giving the like head guy like shit and like not doing things properly and like picking up one thing and just kind of like walking slowly. He literally looked like he was somebody's like delinquent cousin who was like, hey, we're short a guy, come help us out or whatever. But like not really like asking questions or talking to me or whatever. There was another guy who was like decent. Oh, they also showed up with no masks on. That's not true. One of them did. There was one guy in particular who was good. He like wore a mask the whole time. He was polite. He was like kind of shy, didn't like talk that much, but like asked me questions, and like he was the only one who I like didn't have a problem with. They're moving stuff and like they start moving like some boxes and stuff, and I'm moving like the bags of clothes because they were like complaining about those. Apparently it's like way too hard for movers to move like bags of clothes. Like I'm trying to stay, like one of us is trying to stay in the apartment and one is trying to stay by the truck the whole time. And my building manager was pretty much like watching them like a hawk, like the whole time, which I really appreciated. So then like the only big stuff that we had was like our couch, which is like, listen, it wasn't a super expensive couch. It was kind of a piece of shit. He just like goes and picks it up. He starts like picking it up by himself and leaning it, and it's putting pressure on the legs, and the two bottom legs just snap off. And I'm standing there like, okay, like, what? And then he tried to be like, oh, those like weren't even on right. Like, and then trying to tell us what we're supposed to do. And we were just like, literally, I think dumbfounded until we actually like were supposed to come here. So they broke the legs off of that. When they took my big bookshelf out, they hit it against the wall. Luckily, that was not damaged, but they banged it. And I was just like, ugh. Like it hurt every single time, you know? And then I see long-haired guy. I'm out by the truck, and I see long-haired guy. Literally, my couch cushions, like the ones that go like on the back that you sit against, he's dragging them on the floor. And like my boyfriend went up and just like took them from him. I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like, how is this possible? I don't understand. And like the main guy, he totally could tell that I was like, that I did not like him. And in fact, I'm pretty sure he heard me say that. So he's like trying to like bond with me and like talk to me and like ask me questions. And I'm being nice, but I'm really just like, I want to move this shit and I want you guys to be like out of my life forever. Like, this is so horrible already. Like, I'm on like such edge right now. My boyfriend and I are going back and forth. We're like basically doing a lot of the packing too. It's time for us to come over here. Just please keep in mind that I've never hired movers before. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the like red flags that I should be looking out for are. So we're supposed to come over here. They have the address and we go up. We ask them to wait for us. We go up and we grab like the last, like some small bags and throw them in our car. And then we're like, all right, we're gonna head over there. Like, just follow us or whatever. So we head out. We start driving. We drive all the way there. It's like a 10 or 15 minute drive. Not even, I think it was probably like 10 minutes. So we get here and we're like unloading our stuff and then like 10 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by. And I'm like, and my boyfriend's downstairs and I'm like, hey, do you see them? Like, is there a truck here? And he's like, no, it should not be taking this long. You should call them. So I call them and the main guy answers and he's like, oh yeah, we stopped for food. And I'm just like, what? Like, you literally have my whole life in your fucking truck right now and you just like leave? Like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know if you're actually stopping for food. I don't know. Like, he didn't tell me. He didn't say like, hey, we're gonna stop for food first. They just left. Like, I don't fucking know if they're like on the highway right now, like going to sell all my shit. So I freak the fuck out. I tell my boyfriend. He asks where they are. I find their location. He drives to like go find them. While he's gone, he literally said like, my phone's gonna die. So like, whatever. So I'm pretty sure I was talking to him and then it cut off and his phone died. So now I have no way of knowing if he finds them, no idea where they are, or like if they are where they say they are. I'm like losing my fucking mind. And I was just like here for probably like 25 minutes by myself, just like looking out the windows, like I hope they show up. So anyway, finally they do. And the guy calls me and he's like, we're here. And I'm like, well, actually in between that, I called the company and I was like losing my mind. I like explained everything. I was like, they broke my, like the feet on my couch. They banged my bookshelf against the doorway. They were dragging my couch cushions on the ground. They took off without telling me to like go get food ostensibly. And she's like, oh, I'm so, like, she's being really nice. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like everything is whatever and you're going to be compensated for any damage and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, I'm going to send you like an email or a text with like all this information, something, I can't even remember what she said because I was like literally having a heart attack while she was talking. She never got back to me, by the way, just saying. They show up with the truck. I go downstairs and I meet them and I'm like, I don't yell at people. I like lost my fucking mind. I was like, my stress level is so fucking high right now. I need you guys to work with me, like get it together. And I pointed to long hair guy and I was like, especially you, like you cannot be dragging my fucking couch cushions on the ground. And they're all like, ugh, fucking ridiculous. I was feeling so, fuck, that was so like the worst day of my life. This isn't even really a get ready with me because I've done like hardly anything. I think I need to take a break and do some stuff. Let me finish off this part of my face and then we'll come back. Okay, sorry. So I did just bronzer, powder, and eye primer. After I like freaked out at them, I obviously wasn't trying to be an asshole, but they freaked me the fuck out and they were garbage except for that one guy. So I'm trying to I yelled at them and then I was like trying to be helpful. So I'm like propping the door open for them. I can't figure out how to do it like here at the apartment. Like how to like open the doors and prop them, you know? So I'm just like opening up the door basically. I'm in the elevators with them, like bringing stuff up and, you know, telling them where to put stuff. And the long-haired guy, ever since I yell at him, just being a dick, just like not talking to me, putting stuff down, like not asking where it goes, like putting things down in like the wrong rooms and stuff. I hear yelling when I'm in this room actually, because it's like on the corner. And my boyfriend finally, he gets back and he sees them and he's yelling at them. So we both yelled at them like individually. And he's basically like, I'm gonna end you. It was just fucking insane. That long-haired guy, like everything else like went okay, like bringing stuff in. Like the main guy and then the one good guy were good once we got stuff here and they like saw that I was like losing my mind. The long-haired guy, yeah, he was being a fucking cunt. I tried to help him a few times, like bring stuff in. Like he was like struggling to like bring things into the like, there's like an entryway and then like a little hall type thing, and he was having a hard time. So I was like trying to help him, like show him like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, just like don't fuck up my shit. And so there's at one point, I feel like it was the stand or something. I'm gonna start going into this. I'm gonna start off with this guy. He's like holding a bunch of them, and it's just like super awkward, and he just like hits the wall, like brand new wall, freshly painted, and just like leaves a big mark. And I'm like, and I literally went, come on. And he just went, oh. I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, how are you doing this job? It's insane. They did like take a chunk out of like the entryway, like plaster, and it's just like black now. So like I have to get some white paint or something and try to like fix that. Anyway, once we have everything in, my boyfriend was gone because he needed to be at our old place to oversee someone dismounting our TV. Thankfully, he gets back like right when they're finishing up, because I'm just like, what do I do? Like, how do I handle this? Like, am I paying for this shit? Like, I don't know what to do. Because at one point, like that woman that I spoke to, the customer service lady for this bullshit moving company, went and complained to like the main guy, like didn't do what she said she was gonna do. She didn't send me an email. She didn't send me a text message with like any kind of whatever. Because like she and I had decided on the phone, I was like, I just want this written down. Like I want this written down, and so that we can like deal with it later, because we're in the middle of this move. I don't want anybody to call. I don't know these guys. Like I don't know what they're like. Like so far it hasn't been a great experience. I don't know if they're gonna like fly off the handle if like some supervisor calls and basically says that I'm complaining or whatever. So she just like went ahead and complained to the supervisor. The supervisor calls the main guy, and then he like confronts me about, he says, yeah, so they like called me about damage. And I was like, well, you broke the legs off my couch. And I was like, and I'm worried about my bookshelf. And he's like, whoa, the legs, like whatever. And then he's like trying to tell me that like they weren't any good anyway, and like tell me how to fix them. And I'm just like, I don't know how to handle these situations. I'm not like a confrontational person, you know? So when that kind of thing comes up, I need like a cooler tone. I don't like that. Just for like what I'm going for right now. So I'm gonna grab my Wayne Goss. But anyway, I don't know. It's just like, it's very intimidating, you know? It's a long story, but we ended up just being like, all right, there's no damages. Like we looked at the bookshelf. I was like, let's look at all this stuff together and see if there's any damage, because I'm fucking worried about it. So we looked at the bookshelf, and the bookshelf was fine. And so we just like said there was no damage. I don't know. I'm a pussy. I didn't know what to do. So then they finish up, my boyfriend gets back, and we're like outside, and we're like, I'm paying, because like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like you just have to like deal with this shit. Like most of the stuff got in, there was really annoying shit. They did a fucking terrible job. Mostly that one guy. The boss calls, or he calls the boss. I can't remember what happened. I think the boss calls. Oh, because they're trying to get me to pay, and they're like, we need you to write down your credit card information. And I was like, if I'm paying over the phone, like why am I writing it down for you to just have? So we called to like do that, to like whatever. And then the main guy, the boss, whoever like owns this shit or runs this shit or whatever, was being such a dick on the phone. And since he was on speakerphone, the guy had him on speakerphone, and he goes, so what was this woman like complaining about? Like as far as whatever? Like literally like, what was she complaining about? And I was like, I can tell you right now, fucking Steven. Anyway, I talked to him. He didn't give a shit. Nobody took me seriously. Like I talked to the woman on the phone. She didn't take me seriously. This guy didn't take me seriously. Like nobody took me seriously until everything finished up. I'm gonna apply a yellow eyeshadow now. Everything finished up. We paid. I was basically just like, I want them the fuck out of here. Like they finally leave. Before they left, the long-haired guy, I'm pretty sure I saw the only good guy go over to him and like talk to him. And then he came over and apologized to me. He was like, hey, Alex, I just want to like say that I'm really sorry for whatever, like being, I can't even remember what he said at this point. Cause I literally just went, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's all I did. Cause I was just like, dude, fuck you. You shouldn't be doing this job. Like that wasn't like his decision, you know? I'm pretty sure he was coaxed by the other guy. So they finally leave, and I'm just like literally, I practically had a heart attack the entire time. It was the most stressful day of my entire life. I'm probably missing a bunch of stuff. I told my parents like the day after or a couple days later all the details. So I'm sure they're gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, you forgot this crazy thing. Like there was so much crazy shit that happened throughout that entire day. It was like literally the worst day of my life. Like moving is already stressful and you're supposed to like hire movers to make things way more easy on you. And it was the complete opposite of that. Like that, I don't even know how it happened. Anyway, so we get back up to this place, the new place, and I told my boyfriend about how they like nicked the like entryway over there and how they like made marks on the walls and all that shit. He calls like a million times. There's like a million different numbers for this moving company. And so he calls like a bunch of different numbers, talks to a few different people, and he's like, I need to talk to Steven. And yes, I'm using Steven's fucking name. He's like, I need to talk to Steve, or whatever the fuck his name is. Everybody's like, yeah, well, blah, 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 like whatever. Like people are starting to give him attitude. Like the women that he's speaking to are giving him attitude. Like, he's not here. Like, yep, no, we know you want to talk to him, whatever. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I need to talk to Steven right now. Anyway, so he finally, I can't remember if he like gets him on the phone, like when he's like talking to one of those women, or if Steve calls him back or what happens. But so he starts talking to him and he's good with like damage control. Like he's measured and everything. But like when I was like I wasn't like losing my fucking mind. I wasn't hysterical on the phone with the like first woman that I spoke to, but they just like didn't take me seriously. So a dude who's like 6'5" with a deep voice gets on the phone and people are like all of a sudden taking him seriously. I was really fucking pissed off about that, you know? Anyway, he basically said, like, I'm not gonna tell you everything that he said, but he was basically like, listen, we hired these people because of a recommendation from a friend, and like these people should not have been movers. Like you should not be sending these people out, except for like the one guy, to represent your company. Come to find out later, my boyfriend tells me, because they didn't tell me this, but they told him, they're like ex-cons and like recovering drug addicts. Which like, listen, I'm all for if like one of the guys on the team is like, you know, fucking a recovering drug addict or like an ex-con or whatever, like one of the guys that like I think people deserve like a second chance or whatever, but like I was a single, like nobody knew he was gonna be here. Like I was a single female booking these 3 dudes. They had no idea my boyfriend was gonna be here. Like that seems fucked up, right? Like I'm like 5'2", like basically the whole thing was just like completely fucked. It was like literally the worst day of my life. But basically what ended up happening was our friend who recommended it, he got totally different guys. So this was like one of those like big companies that probably like hire, you know, movers all around the city. And we just ended up with like the worst combination possible. Anyway, so that was my moving story. Also, my boyfriend and I were both sick through this whole experience. So we were like still sick and dying. It was really just completely horrible. It was one of those, you know, when you're moving, I feel like this happens every time anyone moves. You just like, you run on days where you're like, you wake up and you're just going from like the very beginning. You're not eating any food for like hours and you just like are basically trying to survive to get it done. That's like pretty much how it was for like days, for like probably a week straight. I just still can't even believe that happened. Like it feels like a bad dream. Honestly, I'll be real with you. No offense, Lakers and ColourPop. Purple and yellow, I'm not a fan of as far as like a combination. I think I am gonna put a little bit of purple just because I wanna make this a little bit smokier on the waterline in my lower lash line. So when we were first moved in, we just didn't have like our couch legs were broken, so we couldn't sit on our couch. We had to like get wood glue to like glue the legs back on basically. So we were just like hanging out in here in my like, me sitting in this chair, my boyfriend sitting in my desk chair, sitting at my computer, like watching Netflix. Did we start Squid Games when we were at our old apartment? I think we did. Anyway, I really enjoyed it, but I was really disappointed in the ending. To be completely clear, I'm not clear on a lot of the like symbolism of the end episode, like the red hair and all of that stuff. I haven't like watched an explained video, which I probably should, but I felt like it was super rushed. Wow, spoiler alert. I should rewind and say spoiler alert. Not really. I just said the red hair. It's like not a huge giveaway. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I did really enjoy like the whole thing, but I was disappointed in the ending. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. I don't know if they're planning on doing a second season or whatever. I kind of prefer those kinds of things to be like one-offs. I feel like they always end up being better when they are. Anyway, by the time you watch this, actually the day that you watch this, it'll be my birthday. I'm so old. I'm literally turning 31. Like how? Now my moving story is over, so I don't know what else to talk about. The lighting, it's gonna take me a minute to like get the lighting in here right. I kind of fucked up the blinds and I can't put them down fully. So actually maybe I'll just go in with this dark purple and just like really lean into that like lower smoky. I'll be honest with you, these eyeshadows aren't super pigmented, especially this dark purple. I'm a little surprised. I usually really like ColourPop eyeshadows. I just kind of feel like it's not really like going down. All right, I'm using my Vesca highlight. Yeah, I do kind of feel like because my story was so frantic, my makeup looks frantic, like a little messy. I'm hoping that it just kind of comes together when I put falsies on and everything. Basically, I just like never want to move again. Maybe I should use this guy in my waterline, in my inner corner. It is really foiled. I'm just gonna literally put this everywhere because I just want to like open this up. Especially since my like lower lash line is so heavy. Oh, we watched the Sopranos movie. Pretty disappointing. Once again, spoilers, but I feel like people have been saying that pretty much everywhere. But it just didn't feel like Sopranos at all. It didn't feel like whoever made it, didn't feel like they were a fan of the show. It didn't have Sopranos vibes at all. Maybe like towards the end, I thought that James Gandolfini's son did a really good job playing like a young Tony. And actually there were a bunch of people who did like really, really good like portrayals of their young characters like Polly and Syl. Like that was really fun to watch. But just overall, like I thought the story was really boring and it just didn't feel like Sopranos. Actually, the main guy was really good in it too. It just like felt like why not, I don't know, just like make a separate gangster movie because this just isn't, I don't know, just didn't feel like it, you know? Ooh, just kick the camera. Just a lot of disappointing things recently. What are you guys watching on Netflix right now? When I was visiting my friends, they got me into the Great British Bake Off. So I've been obsessed with that ever since. Look at the difference that eyebrows make. It's insane. I have the new Hindash eyeliner, but I kind of wanted to save it for like something special, but I don't know, maybe I should just wear it. But I just know that it's gonna be amazing. I haven't even opened it yet. So this is the packaging. It's pretty. Bristles, it's bristles. All right, I'm gonna do this, but I might have to like get down here. Ooh, that is inky in the best way possible. I fucked up this side. Ooh, it's very precise. Dude, I haven't done my makeup in like weeks. I'm very off my game right now. I just like really messed that up. They're so uneven, but this is really nice. It's like very precise and incredibly like matte and inky. All right, I'm using that Milani pencil, or pen, to finish off my brows that someone suggested. This is in the shade Soft Brown. I'm like very tempted to do glitter brows right now. This is the Powerflex Cover FX mascara that I got like forever ago, or they sent it to me forever ago and I just haven't tried it yet. So it's a very funky wand. But I'm wearing falsies anyway, so I figured this would be a good time to try a new mascara. That doesn't really matter. I'm gonna use my Demi Wispies by Ardell Foam Ink. Wow, I can't remember the last time I wore false lashes, and that actually didn't go too bad. I'm like very tempted to do glitter brows. I like really want to, and I might. I have this About Face, I don't even know what this is called. Fractal brow? I don't know if fractal is the name or the color. I don't know where the other ones are, but this one's like clear and it's got some like kind of purpley glitter. And I just feel like that would be appropriate. So you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm scared though because my brows are already set. I'm using the back since my brows are already set. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It looks very pretty and subtle. So I'm using the back of the brush since my brows are already set with soap, and that seems to be working. Oh, I like that. I thought I was gonna not like it, but it looks dope. I'm so into this right now. I wanna keep my lips really natural because I just kind of feel like, I don't know, with like the glitter brows and the winged liner and the lower, like the purple and the yellow and the, you know what I mean? So I might actually just do my Lime Crime Taupist lip liner, which is no more, and I apologize. I have 8 hoarded in a drawer over there. Just to give like a little bit of definition. Then I'm probably just gonna do lip balm because I kind of feel like it needs just like not that much. All right, and then I'm just gonna apply a little bit of lip balm. I'm gonna use my Aquaphor. This is the finished Look. Purple, yellow, repping the Lakers. They did give me stickers, and I just kind of feel like I'm not, like I've got the glitter brows going. I just kind of don't really feel like I need stickers. You know what I mean? But these are kind of cute. Overall, the palette's fine. I only used 3 shades total. The yellow, actually, I like the way it looks. I did expect it to be a little bit more pigmented, and the purple is not so pigmented. Kind of lackluster. I didn't use the gold gel pencil, and I will say that even though the cream gel liners are like my absolute favorites, this one felt a little bit waxy. So, I don't know. I think sometimes I've heard from you guys that there can be inconsistencies in the formulas, and this one felt a little waxy. Just saying. But I hope you enjoyed my horrific moving story. This is gonna be really long. Thanks for watching if you like actually made it to the end. And thank you for bearing with me during this time. After this, I'm hoping to get back into my like regular filming schedule, which is typically Mondays, and then uploading Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday? Yeah. So hopefully things will be back to normal soon. Or like this coming week. But yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. I don't know. Let me know what kind of content you want to see coming up soon. Yeah, bye.